Well, good morning. I plan on starting so that we have time to get into things. I'd like to leave a little time for you to ask questions if you have them. Jake, I'm not sure where the speaker is in that room, so I may need some help when it comes to that part of things, when it comes to the questions and things like that. But we'll get to that later. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ryan Nelson. I am the Disability Ministry Coordinator with Global NDI, and I serve the United States and Canada. And so the short version of my role is I exist to help churches become more accessible to families impacted by disability. And disability is a very broad term, and so we do narrow that down a little bit. Our focus, our primary focus, if you will, is on children and their families impacted by intellectual and developmental disabilities. As I walk you through the resources we have available today, you'll see that we branch out of that. But as we create resources and as we work with churches, that's our primary focus is intellectual and developmental disabilities. So with that being said, I'm going to pull up what we call the Adapted Discipleship Library. It is a website that we have created that is full of free resources. I'm going to say that again. Everything I'm going to show you today is free. That's everybody's favorite four-letter word. And so I'm going to pull this up here. Hopefully my screen will work as well as it has been as we've been testing it. And we'll just kind of jump right into things. There's my email, which I'm sure you all are really interested in. Here is the Adapted Discipleship Library. This is the home page to the library. So when you pull it up, this is what it looks like. The URL, if you are looking for that, it is library.wonderfulworksministry.org. And I will make sure that Joe gets that information and can send that out to you. I'll say it again for you, but it is library.wonderfulworksministry.org. And maybe at the end, I do have a QR code that I think I can pull up and share with you, and you can scan that. It'll also take you to the Adapted Discipleship Library as well. But this is the home page. This is what it looks like when you pull it up. And there's a couple of important things that you need to notice about the home page. The first thing that you need to do when you visit the Adapted Discipleship Library is you need to sign up. I mentioned everything is free, and I wasn't kidding about that, but I am in a grant-funded position, and so we have to report back on this grant how many users we have. And so you'll click this sign up button, and it asks for some very basic information, things like your name, if you're associated with a church, just that you get to create your own password. At no point in time do we ever ask for card information. So this is very basic sign up, and there's no strings attached to any of that. So this is an important feature. If you just kind of want to learn the basics of the Adapted Discipleship Library, there's also a button here, the New Here button, and it'll kind of guide you on ways that you can use it. If you're the first-time visitor, it'll kind of walk you where to start, things of that nature. I do want to point out this is fairly new. We have worked with some outside entities to help us build this out to where the website is screen reader friendly. And so if you have people in your church, if you have families in your church who utilize a screen reader, our website is screen reader friendly. This is one way to get to our resources. Here at the bottom of this homepage, I'll show you the way that I always use it, but I at least want you to see that that's here. Wonderful Works Ministry is our partner ministry. The simple way to say that is Wonderful Works Ministry does the resource creation. I do more of the people side. I do more of the trainings. I do more of this type of thing. I wish I could be there in person because it always works better in person, but this is what we've got today. So that's the home page. We also have some about information. I'm going to skip that because I want to save time and I want to actually get into the resources and walk you through what we have, how they work, etc. So on the resources tab, you can see all the different resources that we have available on the resources tab. We do training videos, which I will show you in just a moment, classroom tools, social narratives, and adapted children's Bible stories. You will get to see all of that during this workshop. I'm going to walk you through all of that. I also want to point out that we do have language translations available for Spanish, French, and Portuguese. And so our social narratives and our adapted Bible story videos are all translated into Spanish, French, and Portuguese. And so if you were to go to those pages on our site, those would be in those languages. Everything on that page is in Spanish, everything on that page is in Portuguese, etc. And we are going to be doing the same thing with our training videos. We will be translating them as well. And so if you've got Spanish speakers in your congregation, that's a great resource for them. Let's jump into things and let's jump into the training videos. So what we have done, when I say training videos, I'm not talking about your hour-long training videos that everybody goes to sleep and forgets what they've learned. That's not what we are about. So we have a library of training videos. If you scroll down, we do have a search bar, which I'll utilize in just a moment. But we've also broken up into categories that you'll see as I scroll through. But in this library of training videos, we do leadership, we do classroom tools, disability education, talk about the neurodivergent, family support, physical disabilities, church ministries, and trauma. So all of these, and they scroll sideways. That's kind of a different feature within our website that a lot of other websites don't use. So I want to make sure that you see that there are a number of videos here. I'm going to show you one of these in just a moment, but when I talk about our training videos, they are on average 5 minutes long. And so we have a topic, we want to educate you, we want to provide training and support to you, and we want it to be practical to use. So on average, these videos are 5 minutes long, and all of our videos come with what we call a talking points handout. And that talking points handout just hits the highlights of what you've learned in the video so that you can talk about it with your church team and about how this impacts our church. And so we try to be very practical as we build out these tools. And so if you have something specific that you're looking for, you can come up to the search bar and you can type in what you're looking for, and those will populate. I'm going to show you the welcoming a student or welcoming a child with autism. That's the video I'm going to show you today. So you could type in autism there, you could type in Down syndrome, you could type in allergies, and any videos tied to those disabilities or to those subjects would populate here. And so let me show you what one of our videos looks like.
According to recent statistics from the CDC, 1 in 36 kids has been identified to be on the autism spectrum. And while this statistic is getting a lot of attention from people, for some people, like me, autism is more than a statistic. It's part of our family. So what do families like mine want churches like yours to know? Well, let's imagine it's Sunday, and here we are in your classroom, my brother who has autism and me. Hang on a sec. Pretty sure that 8-year-olds don't sport bowl cuts and plaid business suits at church anymore. Thanks, 1979. Okay, better. So you've been told that a child on the autism spectrum may be coming to visit your class, and you want to make sure that he and his family feel welcome. So how do you do that? Well, you can start by understanding that new things are hard for our loved ones. So dropping them off into your care is hard for us. And that requires a lot of trust. Now, trusting you doesn't mean that we think you're going to have all the answers. It means that when you don't have them, we trust that you'll want to keep trying and welcoming us back anyway. That means that we trust you'll want to keep learning more. Like, what is autism? Or what are a few things you can do to help? Autism spectrum disorder is a condition related to brain development that impacts how a person perceives things and socializes with others. It can also include limited and repetitive patterns of behavior. Currently, autism is diagnosed in 3 levels, with level 1 requiring some support, level 2 requiring substantial support, and level 3 requiring very substantial support. No matter which level of autism a student may have, there are a few things that you can do to help. Like number 1, be clear with communication. Autism impacts the ability to understand nonverbal cues and read between the lines, which can make guessing what is expected in a new environment really hard. This is important to know, because often teachers assume that a new student will just pick up on what to do by looking around and understanding social cues. That can lead to misunderstanding and stress. Instead, be clear with communication by giving specific instructions. Help students understand expectations by telling them what activity will come first, then what will come next. Reinforcing this with visual aids can help too. Also consider asking someone to stay close to the new student during the service. Let the student know that this person is there to answer any questions or show them what to do if they need help. Number 2, be aware of sensory differences. Up to 90% of people with autism have sensory processing differences. This means that sometimes things in the environment, such as certain sights, smells, tastes, textures, or sounds, can feel overwhelming. For example, if someone lights a scented candle, most people might think, vanilla smells good. But someone with autism who's sensitive may think, this scent is unbearable. This can lead to sensory overload, which means that a person's brain is taking in more sensory information than it can process. And this feels terrible. So one of the best ways to help a new student with autism is to look around the room and see if there may be things in the environment that could feel overwhelming. Then see how things could be adjusted, like turning the music down or dimming the lights. Also make sure you have a less stimulating space where your student can safely go if they need a break. Check out Wonderful Works Disability Ministry in the Classroom to learn more. Number 3, ask questions. The most important thing you can do to help is to ask questions. Families. Hang on. I really need to stop looking through these old photo albums. Families understand that you're not going to be an expert on their child, and they also know that getting the right information makes a big difference. So before a child is dropped off, be sure to ask the family some questions. Here are a few to start with. What does your child like? Is there something that makes him feel secure and at ease? What should we avoid? Are there things that could be a trigger? And what would you like us to do if your child is having a hard time? Some parents may give helpful tips for calming their child, while others may ask you to call them if their child struggles. Listen to learn and respect what they share. For more questions, download Wonderful Works Disability Ministry Quick Question List. Well, I think we've learned a lot about what families like mine want churches like yours to know. But there's one more thing before you go. We want you to know that if you show our loved ones kindness, we will never forget it, or you, or the feeling of experiencing Christ's love. And what could be more welcoming than that? See you next time.
So that gives you a feel for how the videos work. Again, they're all on average about 5 minutes long. And so in 5 minutes, you just learned about welcoming a student with autism into your church. And so a great tool, great resource. The other great thing about these videos, you can download them from our page once you create an account. You can also find them on YouTube. And the reason that's important is that you can build out your own training program using our training videos. You can do a series on autism. You can do a series on whatever you're needing in your church. And you can download those. You can send them out. You can do them in-house and provide an in-house training. So these are very friendly to use within your context. It's not that you have to use it in one specific way. You can use it to fit your needs. Our talking points handout on all of our training videos is found right here. It's a PDF, and so you would click that and it would just populate it for you. Again, you could print this out, you can send it out, and again, it just hits the high points or the main points of the video that you just watched so that you can talk about, okay, this is what we just learned in that video. What does that mean to us? How do we apply what we just learned? And so again, all of our training videos come with a talking points handout. And so we're still adding more training videos to the library as we go along. We're not doing as many of these as we are the adapted Bible story videos, but we are adding new ones as we go. We do highlight a featured video of the month. Oftentimes it's our newest video. This one's not our newest, but it's a great video to watch for setting up all students for success at church. And so you'll notice that we do try to be not just solely focused on a student with a disability, but we try to incorporate how do we make our spaces more accessible and more inclusive for all students. And so that's our training video section there. I'm going to jump over to the classroom tools. In that video, in the Welcoming a Child with Autism video, Barb mentioned several different tools that you can use. The good news is you can find all of those tools within our website here on the Adapted Discipleship Library. Quick note, anytime you see these blue rectangles or these blue video players, these are 2-minute how-to videos. And so when we talk about visuals in the classroom, you can say, well, Ryan, I don't know anything about visuals in the classroom. I have no idea what you're talking about. That's okay. If you have 2 minutes, you can watch this little video and it'll tell you what we mean by visuals in the classroom and how to use them. There are 3 or 4 of these blue rectangular video players within our website, and they are all 2-minute how-to videos. So on our print and go, our ready to go resources, we have communication boards here that are pre-made. And so if you would like to use these, you would just click on the one that you want and download it. It is a PDF. And so you can print it out. You could also put it on a tablet if that's something that you guys use in your church. So whatever fits best in your scenario is how you would use those. Another little tricky thing about our site, we do a lot of sideways things on here. So if you look here, we have another section for disability ministry forms and questions. And so we have some intake forms. If you have a formal disability ministry program at your church, we have a long form, which requires more information, a short form. We have ministry proposal examples, and then we have some nonverbal communication questions. What I tell churches when I come and present is even if you don't have a formal disability ministry program at your church, these intake forms are so valuable. What happens if a student or a family comes to your church and you need information from them, but you're not sure how to ask it? Not all disabilities are disabilities that you can see. Autism is a great example of that. But what happens if you have a family who comes with a disability that you can see? What registers in my mind when I was a pastor, when I was pastoring a church, is there are questions we should be asking. What are they and how should we ask them? These would be great resources for that purpose. So you don't have to have a full-blown disability ministry program to take advantage of these forms. You could print a couple out, have them on hand, and have them at your welcome center, or just have them accessible so it can help you understand what are the questions we should be asking and how do we ask them. So that's just kind of a freebie there. We also have some positive behavior support cheat sheets. These are great for your training notebooks if you do that for your volunteers and your staff. These are great to hang up in your classroom. These are just simple reminders of things that we can do when things happen in our classroom. So for example, when you have a student that feels anxious, what are some things that we can do? Well, we can listen to understand, we can make our expectations clear, etc. And so we have a few of those that again are print and go. These are PDFs, so you would just click on whichever one you want. You can either put it on a tablet, you can email it out, you can print it out, whatever you need to do there. So these are the ready to go, kind of the print and go resources that we have available. If you scroll down on this same page, here's another how-to video. We have what we call the customizable church classroom tool maker. This is like the greatest thing ever invented. So we create our own icons, and so we have an icon library here. What we have here is board inserts. So this would be like for a first then board. You could use it for a prayer board. You could also use it if you want to create your own communication board. So the way this works is that you could type in whatever it is you're looking for. Those icons populate, and it's literally drag and drop. And you just put it where you want. So we're going to pray, and then we will have worship. You would just drag and drop it. And then you can title them here. So first we're going to pray, and then we're going to have worship. And so you can do that for each one of these boxes, and you can print that out, and you have your own cards made for your boards. And so we also have some pre-made boards for you. We have a first then board. We have a prayer board, so you can print those out. You can laminate them. You can put Velcro on them, etc. And so the way this would work is you would populate your boards, your board inserts, and then you would hit this black Create PDF button, and it does just like the talking points handout. It populates the PDF. You can print it out, etc. We also do the same thing for a visual schedule. So you can create your own visual schedule for what happens at your church, and it works the same way. You drag your icon over, you title it, and you build it out, and then you hit this Create PDF button, and boom, there it is. It is very, very user-friendly, simple to use, and this is great. We use this at my church when I was pastoring. We had adults in my setting that were very anxious about church. Um, it, in one sense, you could say, well, that's kind of silly because we did the same thing every Sunday. We didn't vary. We were very consistent in what we would do, but they would still be anxious and they would still have those thoughts of what's next, what's next. And so we created a visual schedule, actually one of these visual schedules, and we posted it in our church to help with the anxiety that people feel about what's happening next. And so there's lots of different ways that you could use that. Also, if you want to learn more, there's more information about First Then boards. There's more information about a prayer request board. There's more information about visual schedules. Again, those are all 2 minutes or less. And so those are the classroom tools that we have available. Did I mention that everything is free? Keep that in mind. I'm going to jump over to our social narratives. In person, I would pause and take questions at this point, but it's too hard to do that virtually. And so I'm just going to fly through this and I'll take questions at the end. So social narratives, again, if you don't know anything, if you're not familiar with social narratives, they're often called social stories, but it turns out social stories is trademarked, so we can't use that. And so we have to go with social narratives. And so social narratives are simple stories that explain social situations. Again, it helps with anxiety. It helps us to know kind of the expectations of what's coming and what we can expect in different scenarios within the church context. And so we have a library full of social narratives that we've created. And so you can see things that happen at church. So we have all the Christmas things, a candlelight service, Christmas Eve services, vacation Bible school. We have when you need a break, starting at youth group. So, I mean, just several videos here that you can see. One that I like to point out is having a new teacher. Because that happens at church a lot, where we have a substitute teacher or we're going to a new class, we have promotion Sunday, etc. And I like to point this out, and I tell leaders, I say, if you're going to have a new teacher, say in your Sunday school class, or a new teacher in your children's church time, and that's going to be coming, you could print this out and send it home with a family, and they would have a whole week or 2 weeks to prepare for having a new teacher. And so these work the same way. You would click on the one that you want to use, and you would just come down and hit download, and it's a PDF just like all the others. And this is what it looks like. And this is it's 2 pages. And so we have the images and we have the short story that goes along with it that can explain what's going to be happening, what they can expect, and kind of the flow of church that day, so to speak. And so most of them are 2 pages. We do have a few that are up to 4 pages. I don't think we have anything over 4 pages long in our social narratives. But we have a library of social narrative resources, not just the things at church, but we also have steps in faith. So like communion, baptism, dedications, those types of things that happen. Serving at church. So if you have opportunities for families to serve outside the church, or serving as a greeter, or serving meals. So all of these are available as well. And we are adding to this as well. Our primary focus as we add is on the adapted Bible story videos. We add about 1 a month right now, which is really great for us. But we are still adding training videos and we are still doing social narratives. They're just not quite as frequent. I'll word it that way. So on the adapted children's Bible story videos, they follow our training video model. And so all of these on average are 5 minutes long. I'm going to show you a little bit about them, then we'll come back and we'll watch one. So on our adapted Bible story videos, we have several different versions. We have what we call the original version, which we'll watch one of these in just a moment. We also do American Sign Language. We have a video description version for those who are visually impaired. And then we have the Spanish, French, and Portuguese translations. And so when we go back up to what we call the original version, we are up to, I think there's 16 posted. Oh, now there's 17. This is our newest one. Jesus Feeds the 5,000 just came out this week. And so this is a brand new. So there are 17 of these up right now. By the end of our grant period, we plan to have between 60 and 70, 60 to 70 adapted Bible story videos. And so you can see what we have available right now. Our longest video is the Easter story. Our Easter story video is a little bit over 8 minutes because we do tell the Easter story. We've had great feedback from this video. I will say on our video description, you can add about 3 minutes to every video. And so when we say on average 5 minutes, these on average are 8 minutes because we're describing what's happening on the screen. So I'm going to show I'll tell you what, I'll just show our newest one. That'll work fine. So this is the newest one that just came out this week, Jesus Feeds the 5,000. Before I show it, let me kind of walk you through on our training videos. Barb Stanley, who is the president of Wonderful Works Ministry, she is essentially the host for the training videos. So when the training videos begin, Barb introduces it. It goes to the animation style that you saw. We do our own animation, and then Barb wraps it up. On our Bible story videos, Leah Wicker, who is our special education consultant, she is the host for all of our Bible story videos. And so she introduces every video, it transitions into animation, and then it comes back to Leah. What I want you to know about our Bible story videos is that because we do our own animations, it's consistent. So Jesus is Jesus all throughout. And so there's no confusion there. He looks the same. So you'll notice that as you watch all of our videos. But let's watch Jesus Feeds the 5,000.
Jesus feeds the 5,000. John 6, 1 through 14.
Hey there, it's Miss Leah. It's so great to see you today. Did you know that when Jesus was on the earth, he did a lot of amazing things to help people? How do you think that made them feel? Happy or sad? That's right. People felt happy. In today's Bible story, we're going to learn about a time when Jesus fed 5,000 people with one boy's small lunch. This Bible story teaches us that God can do great things even when what we offer him feels small. Would you like to help me tell the story today? If you're able, let's make the sign for celebrate when you see the crowd celebrating in the story. The sign for celebrate is this. Celebrate. Try it with me. Celebrate. Great job. Let's get to the story.
Hey, it's Jesus. Jesus is our Savior and he is God's Son. Did you know that back when Jesus was on the earth, large crowds of people followed him wherever he went? This happened because people knew that Jesus could do amazing things, so they wanted to be near him. One day, Jesus was tired. So he and his disciples went to a quiet place to get some rest. But soon, a crowd of over 5,000 people came to see him. Whoa! Even though Jesus was tired, he wanted to help the people, so he began teaching them. As it was getting late, Jesus knew that the people would be hungry. He asked his disciple Philip where they could buy enough bread to feed all the people. Jesus asked Philip this to test him. He already knew what he was going to do. Philip said, "Someone would have to work for almost a year to buy enough bread for each person here to have only a little piece." Philip did not believe that they could give the people what they needed. Then another disciple named Andrew spoke up. He told them that there was a small boy in the crowd who had 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fish to eat. But he agreed that this would not be enough to feed thousands of people. But Jesus knew differently. Jesus took the 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fish from the boy. He thanked God for this offering and had his disciples start handing it out to the people. Then something amazing happened. No matter how many people went to eat, the bread and the fish never ran out. Every person in the crowd ate as much as they wanted. And when dinner was done, the disciples gathered up the leftover pieces and they filled 12 large baskets. Whoa! That day, Jesus showed everyone something important. Even when what we offer God feels small, He can do amazing things with it.
Wow, that's amazing. What did Jesus do with the boys' 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fish? Did he feed one family or feed everyone? That's right. Jesus fed over 5,000 people that day. This Bible story teaches us that even when what we offer God feels small, He can still do great things with it. Thank you so much for watching today. And remember, Jesus loves you, and we do too. Bye!
So that gives you a feel for our Bible story videos. They all are the exact same format where Leah introduces, we go the animation, Leah closes. We do have a few videos where we have Leah in the middle, where she asks an interactive questions for participation purposes. But most of our videos follow that exact same format. The cool thing about our videos that I need you to notice is if you scroll down, we have a handout here, a discussion guide, and it comes in 2 levels. It comes in level 1 and in level 2. And so we provide a few questions that you can utilize when you are discipling children with disabilities within your church context or at home. And so what did Philip say when Jesus asked where they could get food for all the people? And then we have a multi-sensory idea and prompts for deeper discussion. Have you ever thought like Philip did and had trouble imagining what amazing thing God's can do? And so there's a discussion guide there. That's level 1. And we have little activities here that go along with it. And then we go into level 2, which would be more of your nonverbal. And so same kind of concept. How did the people feel when they saw Jesus do amazing things, happy or sad? And we also have a level 2 prayer guide. And so it helps us to walk through praying and gives them opportunity to say who they would like to pray for. And all of our adapted Bible story videos come with these discussion guides as well. Okay. So those are the resources that are available on the Adapted Discipleship Library. What I also like to say is, but wait, there's more. And so if you go to the coaching tab, we have additional resources that are available to churches that you need to know about. And so we do offer free coaching or free consultations to churches, no matter where you are in the disability ministry space. It does not matter if you have a full-blown disability ministry program. It doesn't matter if you have one student. It doesn't matter if you're a church who's saying, we know nothing about this, but we'd like to learn more. Leah Wicker, who you just met in our adapted Bible story videos, she is our consultant from Wonderful Works. And so you would come to the coaching tab, you would hit this request a free session, and it pulls up a calendar where you get to pick your day and time. And it just like how you sign up for our website, you put some basic information so Leah can contact you, and she will spend 45 minutes to an hour with you or your team talking about whatever's happening in your context. And so this is another free resource that's available to the church. If you scroll down, something new that we are doing in disability ministry is we are offering a quarterly disability ministry webinar in partnership with the Discipleship Place. And so these first 2 videos here are the 2 newest videos from our webinar series. This first video on this side is the very first webinar that was done in the disability ministry space in the Church of the Nazarene. This was right around General Assembly time 2023. And so this webinar talks about how you can set your church up for success when it comes to disability ministry. These 2, Brad Lee is a licensed counselor and a coach, and he does the Special Needs Family Institute. It is based out of Nashville, Tennessee, And his big ministry, his heart for ministry, is the special needs marriage. Brad has a son with autism and Down syndrome, and Brad likes to speak into the life of those marriages for those families. This is a great webinar. I would encourage you to check it out. And then this webinar was our newest one. This is Barb and Leah essentially doing what I am doing, walking you through the Adapted Discipleship Library. In just a minute, I'll pull up a QR code and some information. Our next webinar is actually Tuesday, and we are very excited. We have Lara Roberts from Key Ministry, and she will be speaking to us on Tuesday. So I'll pull up information on that in just a little bit. If you continue to scroll down on the coaching tab, we also have links to other Church of the Nazarene resources that are available. And so you can find those here. And if you continue to scroll down, we have additional disability ministry resources. These are not Nazarene organizations, but these are people who are doing really great things. And some of them are doing things that we are not in that space yet. And so what I do want to point out, I want to highlight Reach Hurting Kids. They are interdenominational. There is a Nazarene presence within their organization. But they are trauma-informed care. And so if you're a church that's impacted by trauma, if you have kids that are impacted by trauma in your church, I would point you to Reach Hurting Kids. They do great things. Reverend Kayla Smith is a Nazarene who serves on their board. She does a lot of speaking events for them. They do a lot of wonderful things. So if trauma is impacting your church, they are a great organization to reach out to. A couple of things before I take questions that I want to make you aware of. These are new things that are happening. So the USA Canada Kids, they provide free curriculum for like your children's church space. Something new that is happening is I am partnered with USA Canada Kids, and I come in behind their curriculum and provide accommodations for students with special needs. We are not modifying their curriculum. We are just providing some tips and tools to help make their curriculum more accessible for all students. Beginning in 2027, we're going to be doing the same thing for Nazarene Vacation Bible School. This is the old logo. This is last year's logo, but it will take you to the new curriculum that's available. If you did not know, the Church of the Nazarene provides free Vacation Bible School curriculum, and you can find it right here. And beginning in 2027, we will have an accommodations guide that goes with their curriculum as well. So those are a couple of new things that are happening that you need to be aware of. So at this time, I'm going to pause, and I may need Jake's help here. I'm not sure where the microphone is in that room. And so if you have questions, if there's anything that I might be able to answer or provide additional context to, I'd love to hear from you. And then I'll close in just a minute by giving you some additional information that might be helpful for things that are happening in your church or things that are happening in maybe the future that you're planning or that you're dreaming of, that you're praying about. So I'll stop talking for a minute and give you the floor if you have questions.
I don't think I have any questions, but that is great information. I had no idea was out there. So I really appreciate that. Like that and free? What? Yeah, so it is good. I guess one question though is you said it's grant funded. So is this going to disappear? Like when is the grant over? Or
Yeah, that's a great
will it be
question.
refunded or?
Yeah, so you're speaking into my life right now.
Yeah.
So this grant, the current grant that we are operating under, runs to the middle of 2028. At the end of that grant, we will still own the Adapted Discipleship Library. So the library will not go away. That's important to know. As far as everything else is concerned, I have no earthly idea. I do not know if I don't know if my job exists at that, at the end of the grant. I don't know what that looks like. I've been having those conversations and really getting nowhere at this stage, which is it's understandable because next year is General Assembly, and so that everybody's focus is kind of on General Assembly happening, and I understand that. And you can look at it and say, well, it's still 2 years out. And we say, okay, yes, 2 years. And that seems like a long time. but it's not really a long time.
That's not
So,
correct.
but what I also want to add to that is we have applied for a second grant with the hopes of being able to enter the youth and adult space. And so what you probably noticed as I was presenting is we are not really in the curriculum space within this current grant. We're really resourcing and equipping churches with this first grant. In the second grant that we've applied for, we would be getting into the curriculum space. We want to do a weekly curriculum for teens and or adults. It's been adapted, it's been modified, it's designed to use with as a Bible study or as whatever works best. It doesn't even have to be used in the church, but we are designing this curriculum to be used with teens and adults with disabilities to build out a community for them. And so that's just one aspect of that. There's more within that grant, but that's a big piece of that grant is getting into that space and providing resources for youth leaders and for our leaders in our churches to be more accessible for teens and adults as well. So that we're praying about that. We'll learn more about that in December. The grant's been submitted. We'll receive a response in December. So yeah, great question.
As someone who is an adult in my church and has a disability, specifically visual impairment, I've been grateful that my church has taken it on as a good challenge and has really taken me in. And I was glad to hear that y'all got audio description, which is great.
Yeah.
Have you had anybody test the website though? Because I haven't obviously had a chance to hop on or anything. Have you had anybody test the website with a screen reader?
Yes, we have, and we are screen reader friendly. We had an outside organization actually meet with us, and they helped us a ton with that. And so I am confident in our screen reader capabilities on our website. We've had professionals look. So yeah, great question.
I'm
That
very
was
curious
important
as
to
to who
us.
you had, but proud of you either way.
Let me show you a few other
I'm
things.
I'm also a professional in the disability field, not in special ed, but as a vision rehab teacher. So if you ever want my contact info or anything, please let me know.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I'm going to give you my email in just a little bit. Send me an email with your information. I would love, love, love to have it. My mother is also visually impaired, and she is engaged in the church. She actually just got her first local license in the Church of the Nazarene. Yeah, she's legally blind, and so we're excited. We're excited for her. This may be I may be a little wonky getting this pulled up because it's a different screen, but there's some information I'd like to share with you if I'm able to do so. Okay, we'll just start from the beginning and just kind of fly through here. This is a presentation I was going to use at this, but I've changed my mind. Okay, so this is just a slide that indicates about our upcoming webinars that are happening. Our next one, like I mentioned, is on Tuesday with Lara Roberts from Key Ministry. And then after that, on November 10th, we'll have Dean Blevins from the Nazarene Theological Seminary. Dean Blevins is part of Nurturing Care. It's also a grant initiative from out of NTS. And what they do is they go in and help churches dream about what is one thing that we can do differently within our worship setting to be more inclusive, specifically for families impacted by autism. And so it's design thinking model. It's about a day and a half workshop with Dean, very intensive, but it's a great thing that they do. And if you're interested in that, you can contact Dean and learn more about Nurturing Care. I mentioned about Leah. So here's a few things that I would like you to know about my role in the Church of the Nazarene and what I bring to the table, so to speak, as we think about equipping and resourcing churches. I can come to your church or I can come to your district and provide an in-person training event or a workshop or come and speak at your church, and it's free. All of my travel is covered, my hotel is covered, all of those things are covered. And so if it would be helpful to your church or to your district for me to come and actually be there in person, I can do that, and it does not cost the district or your church anything. Some of the things that I provide, I've been a plenary speaker at several different events, but speaking specifically for disability ministry, I can come and do a similar training to this, where I can just provide an overview and how do we use this adapted discipleship library thing. I can come and help you get started with disability ministry, getting from like the dream to let's actually get started. I can come and help think outside the box for ministry at the church, creative ministries in the church. We also have an on-site evaluation for disability ministry planning. So like looking at your church through the lens of disability and seeing things that maybe we didn't notice before. And it helps us to think about, okay, what is something that we can do right now to make our church more accessible? And what can we dream for in the future? So those are a few examples of things that I can come and provide to your church or to your district. And so, and all of that again is everybody's favorite four-letter word, free. I mentioned about USA Canada Kids. Here are some prayer requests that I wanted to share with you before we wrap up. We have written a resolution for the Nazarene manual. As I was reviewing the manual, we really don't have anything in the Church of the Nazarene manual regarding disability and the disability community. And so took some time and wrote a resolution, and it should be going, this resolution should be going before the general superintendent in September to see if it will make it to the floor for General Assembly 2027. My prayer and my hope is that we will be voting on this resolution at General Assembly 2027. And my ultimate prayer is that we'll be adding a paragraph to the Nazarene manual regarding the importance of the disability community. And so if you would pray with me about that, I'd love that. I mentioned the upcoming webinars, and we also, and I mentioned about the grant, we would love to expand into youth and the adult ministry space. So those are all some things that we're working on right now, that we're praying about right now, and that we're really excited about. I'm going to try to pull up, stop sharing for a second. I wanted to pull up a QR code for you for the webinars. I think that's probably the easiest way to do that. The best thing about these webinars is just like the Adapted Discipleship Library, they are free as well. And so if you scan this QR code that I will hopefully be pulling up, you will find it'll take you directly to the website where you can register for free for the webinars. And we would love to have you join us. And I'm not sure what I did with that.
Will those webinars, like on the Tuesday, will they be online, like to watch later?
Yes,
That library that was on? Okay.
yes, we do add them to the library. They're on Discipleship Place. So there's several places that you can find it after the fact. So if you can't watch it live with us, you can find it on the Adapted Discipleship Library. You can find it on Discipleship Place. Those are a couple of places that you can find it. So here is that QR code. If you are interested in it, it is right there. So hopefully that QR code works the way it's supposed to, and it takes you
Yep, it did
to
work.
great. And so that Lara is going to be talking to us about how to create a sustainable special needs parent-to-parent discipleship multiplication model. That's a long title, but I am very, very excited. Key Ministry, where Lara works, they are one of the, if not the biggest organization in the disability ministry space. They host a conference called Disability in the Church, and it is a massive conference in the disability ministry space. So having Lara join us is really an incredible thing. I'll pull up one other QR code. It's the QR code to the Adapted Discipleship Library, if you'd like to just kind of get there quickly without having to remember the website and all of those things. And so I will share that with you as well. It should be there. So that's the QR code to the Adapted Discipleship Library. Just kind of a shortcut to get there as well. I think I'm right on my 50 minutes. Okay, I'll take any other questions. I'm not in any rush. I think it's you guys' time for lunch after this, if my understanding of the schedule is correct. And so I am free if you have additional questions, if you want to talk, or if you're ready for lunch, you're in charge now. How about that?
Well, I appreciate the training and I can't wait to go back and share it with the rest of the people in my church and just get on there and click around on all the stuff because that is
Absolutely.
tremendous. That is great.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great
It's
resource. We are
really
very
good
excited
stuff.
about it. Yeah. Well, thank you
Yeah.
for that. I'd love to have your
I'm,
feedback after using it. I'd love to have your feedback.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't give you my email. I almost forgot that part. My email is rnelson, Nelson, at nazarene.org. rnelson@nazarene.org. And so you guys can email me. I'd love to have feedback on using the Adapted Discipleship Library. Love to hear from you if you'd like me to come to your church or your district. We didn't, Joe and I didn't connect in time for me to be there in person for this one. I'm hoping next time I can come and be there in person, but I'm thankful that he made space for me to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on our board at my church, and so I'm trying to get them to do a little bit of the just adaptability type things for future
Mhm.
people as well.
That's right.
The other part that I was going to double check with you, and you may or may not have this clear answer, because I keep getting conflicting answers from different people. And that is, to my knowledge, churches are excluded from having to follow the ADA. Is that
Yeah,
true?
there's kind of a grandfathered in
Yeah.
kind of model that they use. A great example of that would be restrooms come to mind. You
Yep.
know, many of our Nazarene churches are in older buildings that were
Yes, they
built
are.
prior to the ADA even
Mhm.
existing. And so they were just kind of grandfathered in. Um, this is not really your question, but I'm going to say this anyway because I think it's helpful. Oftentimes when I go and speak and I present, I get the questions about our buildings. That's a very common question because we're in these older buildings. They're not ADA compliant. They've got steps, they've got small restrooms, etc. And they're always asking about, well, is there money available for us to renovate or to do these things? The Church of the Nazarene does not have those resources. But what I've learned is I've gone around and spoken and done different events and things like that. And even in our own ministry, there are a few things that I could recommend that you can try. I'm not going to promise you that it will work. It depends on your setting, etc. But some things that have worked in other places. Um, every state has some form of aging and disability office. It may not be called that specifically in Oklahoma, but every state has some office within that realm of aging and disability. And so you can contact them and see if there's any grant funding or funding set aside that would help with whatever your project is that you're trying to do. Another opportunity that we are aware of that we utilized in my local church is your community, your city, your town, wherever you live, they oftentimes offer grants as well, community grants. And so you could kind of see what's available within your Chamber of Commerce, et cetera, what kind of grants they might have available to help fund some of those projects as well. Again, I'm not promising you that will work in your setting, but it has worked in other places, and there's been funds made available to do some of those types of things to become ADA compliant, et cetera.
And then piggyback off of my original question with the website being accessible, are the PDFs screen reader and functionally accessible?
I don't know. I can't remember if we did all of the PDFs under screen reader or not. That's a great question, and I did not test that myself. Um, so that part I honestly don't know the answer to, and I will find out though. And but I know the
I'll hop on there and
website.
give you some feedback.
Perfect. That would be great. I would appreciate that. Yeah.